Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. I am Darko, and today is July 23rd, 2010. Thanks for joining me in this little news Blitz video. I'm going to cover a bunch of news that's been going on in the past week or so that I haven't covered. And this first one is the unemployment benefits in the U.S. were extended. It says the U.S. Senate votes to restore unemployment benefits, and it says the U.S. Senate has voted to restore the payment of unemployment benefits to 2.5 million Americans who have been out of work for over 6 months. And so, yeah, they were kind of playing politics with the whole thing. And we go down here and it says that the bill literally put food on the table for millions of Americans. But it goes down here and it says, but it said the bill was passed by 59 votes to 39, says the program has lapsed at the end of May after Republicans and Democrats could not agree on how to cover the $34 billion cost of extending it. And you say, well, $34 billion is a lot of money. Well, yeah, it sucks because these people aren't working, so they're not really, that productive, but they're able to survive this, or survive this recession or the result of the hijacking, right, where bankers took over $20 trillion, and that was reported by Bloomberg a long time ago. So God only knows how much money has been siphoned through the Economic Recovery and Reinvestment Act, the TARP funds, the stimulus. God only knows how many trillions of dollars were legally siphoned off to these private bankers. God only knows, but they played politics with it, and basically for a month or two they were dangling these unemployment benefits out in front of Americans, saying, oh, this is socialism, we can't do it, sorry. And eventually they're not going to extend them, and people are going to be left out to dry, and that's what fascism is. And so you can say, well, why can't they just get this money, this 30, I mean, they're trying, they spend, or they write bills that are, hundreds of billions of dollars, if not trillions, really. And so what is $34 billion in helping people, right? But no, I mean, and it says Republicans down here, they said that they didn't want it. They don't know how they're going to afford it. It says Republicans argued the country could not afford the program at the time of soaring deficits. It's not paid by cuts elsewhere. So that's where it was coming from. They just need to make cuts somewhere else. And so they could have made cuts for defense, or the war on terror, or all the spy cameras they have in the country. There's a lot of, they could have they can try closing up our borders and saying, well, we're not going to have this many illegal immigrants in here. Sucking whatever social system we have for American citizens, taxpayers, so we can save money that way. No, they don't do it that way. It doesn't work that way, guys. But either way, the bill is passed, and so I guess that's a good thing. It's a bad thing for us because we're spending more money, and it's not good for the value of our dollar, but it's temporary relief in this corporatist mercantile system that we're living under here. Next important story that I saw coming up is over in Asia and China, where you have Secretary of State Hillary Clinton starting stuff between, well, not really starting stuff, there was already kind of a situation going on in China about a bunch of little islands and who is going to be in control of that. So you have why Clinton cares so much about an Asian island chain, much like the Japanese when they took all those islands in World War II, a bunch of little landing, they're good for air refueling, just little bases. But it says Hillary Clinton is getting the U.S. involved in a complex international dispute over a chain of islands in the South China Sea. It says China and nearby Asian states have long made competing claims as to who controls the strategically located islands. Speaking at a meeting of the Association of Southeast Asian Nation in Hanoi, Vietnam, Clinton said that the U.S. has a, quote, national interest, right, in resolving the issue peacefully. Here's what's going on, why it matters, and what could happen next, according to key journalists and experts. And it goes down here, and I'll post the links for these articles, so you can go down and check on them. But it just talks about China's aggressive agenda, talking about expanding their naval force and their sphere of influence, if you want to call it that. But you know, like with Japan, when they had those islands, the biggest reason why they struck the U.S. and that, and they were going into China and Burma, they were looking for oil. And so that's basically what will set off World War III, or whatever the next big conflict will be. Most likely be with the U.S., Israel, and the Western established powers against some kind of false flag attack triggered by the U.S. and Iran, but it will be indirectly caused by Israel, and it'll be China and Russia basically working behind the scenes, funding Iran with either funding them or supplying them with parts, but publicly they'll be denying it and saying that it's not happening. But that's how I see it kind of playing out. And China just had an oil spill recently. There's been a lot of oil spills besides the BP one, and natural gas explosions today. But Webster Tarpley seems to think that it's going to be, if something does kick off with China, it's going to be happening through different countries. It's going to be caused by oil, and it's going to be caused somewhere, possibly in Siberia and that, where they start cutting off oil supplies in the east between Russia and China, try to get them pinned against each other. But eventually they'll team up together, kind of go against the West, I guess. But looked here, and it says July 23rd from this Atlantic Wire. It says U.S. war games aimed at North Korea. The U.S. and South Korea are running joint military exercises off the Korean Peninsula in an attempt to discourage North Korean military aggression, seen, for example, in the sinking of the South Korean vessel in March. Secretary of Defense Gates says the war games are designed to send a clear message to North Korea that its aggressive behavior must stop. It says Friday, North Korea threatened a physical response if the exercises are not halted. Will the games ultimately work? And like I said before, you can come down and check this out. And then you have, here we go again, Secretary of State Clinton urged Asia on Friday to enforce tough sanctions against North Korea, which hit back by threatening a physical response to Washington's plans for joint military drills with South Korea. So yeah, now you have the U.S. Along with all the Western powers imposing sanctions already on Iran, more sanctions, embargoes. They're importing oil and they're banking, and now they're doing this with North Korea. So what are they doing? These are the axis of evil. If you guys remember all the rhetoric that was going on after 9/11, and these were the axis of evil. So now when you start seeing the Western powers poking and prodding these countries with sanctions and just kind of getting them all stirred up and riled up again, especially with Clinton over there in China and stuff like that, kind of in between. They're trying to start a war, guys. And this was a story that I thought was pretty important. It was from the Associated Press, and this is from July 15th. It says at least 20 killed in bombings in southeast Iran. And these were assassinations. It says Tehran, Iran, twin bombings killed at least 20 people outside a mosque in southeastern Iran on Thursday, including members of the powerful Revolutionary Guard, in attacks that came less than a month after Iran hanged the leader of a militant insurgent group in the region. So, but this is after they've sent Israel and the U.S. have openly sent warships and that down near their doorstep, along with imposing sanctions. So there's a lot going on here than just the hanging whatever of some leader. But yeah, so there you go. They're carrying out assassinations. They're getting closer to them. Do I know when they're going to attack? No, but it's going to be bad if they do. I know that. Let's just hope that they don't. So please join me on this next video and this news blitz for July 23rd, 2010. Thank you.